Hello, I'm Assemblymember Amy Paulin, and welcome to my show, Assembly Update. Today I have two wonderful guests who are visiting Albany, lobbying Albany members, both on the Assembly and Senate side, from Planned Parenthood. We have Reina Schiffrin, who is the CEO and president of our local Planned Parenthood, the Hudson-Peconic Planned Parenthood, and one of her board members, Judy Widmann, who is from Westchester County. So welcome, and maybe you can share the hope and aspirations of Planned Parenthood and Family Planning Advocates, which is your umbrella group for Albany this session.
We have over 350 women, men, teens up here today, the first day of session, to really talk about our agenda and partner with the legislature on bills and acts and make sure that reproductive health care and rights are really out there right up front from the beginning.
So I know that you've come with an assortment of issues for us to work on. Maybe you can go over. There are budget concerns. We have a terrible budget year, and Planned Parenthoods, like everywhere else, have been cut, and we're of course hoping to make as much restoration as we can. So that's one of the key things you're up here to tell us, which is important. But you also have some legislation that for the first time, because we have a Democratic Senate, we might have an easier time passing. The Assembly's passed it. I think all three bills, right? We've passed all three bills. No.
Not the Reproductive Health Act. Not the
Reproductive.
Two bills.
Two bills we've passed, and one is new. So let's, why don't we do old first, and then we can move on to new.
Well, I just want to say, in terms of funding, most important is that we preserve the funding that is needed statewide to do family planning for prevention. And you're right, we did get a cut, as all agencies did last year, and we're just hoping that we can preserve the rest going ahead in 2009. And if there is a federal stimulus package, that there might be funding that can come back into health care throughout the state. So that's, you're right, funding is number
one
one.
Of the things that we heard this morning from Commissioner Daines, the New York State Health Commissioner, is how well New York is doing on curbing teen pregnancy.
Absolutely.
So we don't want to do anything to risk our progress, that we are disproportionately doing better than other states, in making sure that teens do not get pregnant and go on and have children when it's, best to have them, which is when you're a little older. Clearly the funding is critical, and it's also critical because women my age, need health care. So we can't, we have to be very careful in what we cut. So we appreciate and hear that message. On to the bills.
Healthy Teens?
Okay. Healthy Teens is a kind of an umbrella bill that would deal with sex education in the schools and providing the proper information, not what has been the past history is the abstinence-only programs, which is known not to work. And we have brought this bill before the Assembly many times, and it's always passed the Assembly. It's never had a chance in the Senate. This is the first year that we feel re-energized about it because the Senate is finally in the hands of people who believe in this bill. And to most of us in Planned Parenthood, this is such a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you want teenagers to know the proper things to do not to get pregnant, not to get a sexually transmitted infection, the places to go, the information they need about health care, their bodies. This is, to me, is a no-brainer. Why would you not want this information out there in the best possible way for your population? So we have high hopes this year, and we heard it from the Majority Leader of the Senate this morning in our meeting that this would be a priority of his, so it's probably going to happen.
No, that's terrific.
It's exciting. 1 in 4 young women, teens, has a sexually transmitted infection in our country. And in minorities groups, it's even a higher number. So we need to educate our teenagers and give them comprehensive sex education in the schools that's medically accurate and age appropriate. And that includes abstinence, but it needs to be more comprehensive. So we're really hopeful that this bill will get to the Senate floor. Richard Gottfried has been the sponsor in the Assembly. It's passed 4 or 5 years, and we're hoping this year it'll get to the Senate. And be passed. We're hopeful.
Great, because without that knowledge, teens make wrong choices
all the time.
And we hope the bill will get funded if it's passed as well, so we can implement what will be
Yeah, well,
in it.
funding is a trickier issue
It's
this year.
trickier, right.
But you know, and that, but it's certainly the politics are right. So let's, you know, hopefully the economy will be in better shape too as we proceed. That's hopeful. So what else? There are
Two others. Well, the Reproductive Health Act is the act last year that in the Senate actually was presented by Senator Andrea Stewart-Cousins from Westchester, and this is an act, a law that we feel very strongly that since 1970 was when the law was put into effect in New York State to protect a woman's right to choose, and that's contraception and abortion, and to really change that. Go back now and look at it. It's very outdated, and it needs to be codified. It needs to be taken out of the penal system and put in the health codes. So we're going to look for a sponsor in the Assembly and work with the Senator again to move this forward. Very, very important in the state. As the Supreme, you know, as things get chipped away federally, we need to protect women's rights in the state.
Well, New York was one of the first states that did look to protect women's health care and her ability to make a choice, because we preceded Roe by 3 years.
Yes,
so, you know, hopefully now, you know, we will go forward. You know, we're rewriting laws all the time, you know, because there's new information, and certainly in healthcare there's new information, and the way the original structure of the law didn't take into consideration some of those factors. So, you know, you know, I think you can, again, this is the right political year to accomplish some of those things.
And also that bill does not require funding.
Right, which is very important.
Which is a plus.
Right, which is a big plus.
Yeah, and the technology is so different from you think of what was available to know in 1970 and what you're doing in 2009. I mean, it's generations of difference. So
right, absolutely.
It really should be updated and put in its proper place.
It was groundbreaking in 1970, but we have to make sure those individual rights are protected today. So
it's hard to believe New York was groundbreaking.
It was, it was.
But we were.
In our tradition.
It was.
And it's an important tradition to continue. So hopefully we'll be groundbreaking again. And you know, and it just preserves what we already have. It's not that, you know, there's going to be any new way of having a baby or not having a baby.
Right.
Those are we're not trying to alter or dictate in the law, you know, what a doctor can and can't do. And in fact, we want to preserve the right for the woman and the physician to make those choices, which is really what the bill is about. So, you know, so it's good legislation, and hopefully there will be a sponsor. You know, I think it's not for lack of wanting the bill. I think at this point, too many people want to sponsor in the Assembly. We're a very pro-choice House, and that's some of the reasons why it didn't get presented last year. So hopefully those issues will get resolved, and those of us, you know, who want to be on the bill can be.
That's great.
So, and the last one I think is my bill.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
The unintended